So, you think your night out is pretty safe, right? You walk into a bar, you order a drink, you stand vaguely near the stage to watch some nostalgia act play the hits. You assume, on some level, that the building you're standing in isn't actually trying to kill you. On February 20th, 2003, 462 people packed into the Station, a small wooden nightclub in West Warwick, Rhode Island. They were there for Great White. Not exactly the band's heyday, this was the Jack Russell-led version, touring on the fumes of Once Bitten, Twice Shy. But still, it was a Thursday night, it was a rock show, and it was loud. Just after 11 p.m., the band kicks into their first number, and to spruce it up a little bit, as their manager would later put it, the tour manager hits the button on 4 pyrotechnic gerbs, basically industrial sparklers, positioned at the back of the stage. And for a split second, it looks cool. It looks exactly like a rock show is supposed to look. Here's where the story pivots from lame concert to catastrophe. The walls behind the stage were covered in foam. Not acoustic foam, not soundproofing foam. Packing foam. The cheap egg crate stuff you'd use to protect a package in the mail. The club owners had installed it to keep the noise down for the neighbors. It cost them an extra $600. That's it. $600 stood between a cheap nightclub and a funeral pyre. The sparks hit that foam, and it didn't just catch fire, it vaporized. Flames shot up the walls and across the ceiling in a perfect V pattern. It was so fast, so synchronized, that for the first 30 seconds, half the crowd thought it was part of the show. You can see it in the news footage, people just sitting there, drinks in hand, watching the walls melt while the band keeps playing. By the time lead singer Jack Russell stopped singing and just said, "This ain't good," it was already too late for a lot of them. The entire building went from spark to flashover, the point where everything combustible ignites simultaneously in about 60 seconds. Now, you'd think in a fire, the main exit is the obvious place to go, and it was. Which was the problem. The main entrance had a small, cramped foyer designed to catch people sneaking in without paying. It created a bottleneck. A pile of bodies formed in that doorway, trapping the people behind them. People were pushing so hard against the inward swinging doors that the pressure made them impossible to open. There were 3 other exits. One was a side door near the stage that got consumed by flames immediately. The others were open, marked, and usable, but in the dark, in the toxic smoke, with people trampling each other, nobody knew they were there. The band's tour bus was parked outside, blocking one of the windows. When it was over, 100 people were dead. Another 230 were injured or burned. Among the dead was the band's guitarist, Ty Longley. In the aftermath, the blame game was vicious, but predictable. The band said they had verbal permission from the owner for the pyros. The owner said they never discussed it. The tour manager, Daniel Beekle, said he called specifically to ask. The owner's lawyer said, quote, "It absolutely wasn't discussed. They talked about towels and sandwiches, not sparklers." But here's the detail that sticks with me. Great White's contract writer, the technical document that tells the venue what the band needs, made no mention of pyrotechnics. It was signed months before they decided to add the gerbs to the show. Which brings us to Van Halen. Back in the 80s, Van Halen had a famous writer clause. A bowl of M&Ms with all the brown ones removed. People thought it was rockstar decadence. It wasn't. It was a safety check. David Lee Roth explained it later. If he walked backstage and saw a brown M&M, he knew the venue hadn't read the contract. And if they hadn't read the contract, there was a good chance they also hadn't read the part about the weight load for the staging or the power requirements for the lights. It was a canary in the coal mine.
Great White didn't have a brown M&M test. They just assumed verbal permission was enough. And because of that, nobody stopped to look at the walls. Nobody asked, "Hey, is that industrial-grade flammable packing foam 6 inches from where we're about to shoot sparks?" The investigation revealed the foam wasn't just flammable, it was toxic. When it burned, it released cyanide. Most of the victims didn't burn to death. They suffocated. They inhaled the very thing that was supposed to keep the neighbors happy. So, what changed? Everything and nothing. Fire codes got rewritten. The grandfather clause that let old buildings avoid sprinklers was torched. Before the station, if your building was built before 1976, you didn't need sprinklers.
After the station, if you have a capacity of 100 or more, you need a fire suppression system, period. Exits now have to swing out. Panic hardware is mandatory. And if you want to use pyrotechnics indoors, good luck. The permits and inspections are brutal. But here's the thing about safety codes. They're written in blood. Every line of that 200-page report from NIST, it cost 100 lives to print. The station nightclub is gone now. The site is a memorial. 100 names carved in stone. And if you walk into a club today and you see the exit door clearly marked, if you see sprinklers on the ceiling, if you take a second to notice where the nearest way out is, that's not paranoia. That's the ghost of February 20th, 2003, tapping you on the shoulder. Because in a fire, you don't rise to the occasion. You sink to the level of your preparation. And the people who built the station, and the people who played the station, and the people who inspected the station, they just weren't prepared.